the Property Coaching and Wealth Creation Podcast. Brought to you by property and business coach Daniel Latto. Join the conversation at www.daniellatto.co.uk. Remember to like and subscribe.
Hi and welcome to the Property Coaching and Wealth Creation Podcast. My name is Dan Latto, and in this podcast we've got a Facebook Live. So I did a Facebook Live in the last couple of days, and of course not everybody can watch the Facebook Lives, but the information in those Facebook Live events are really important. So I wanted to share them and I wanted to get them down as a podcast, and so here is that Facebook Live. Speak soon.
Hey everybody, it's Dan Latto speaking. So we'll try that again. We went live and it failed, which is awesome because today's podcast is talking about stop worrying about going live and just click live. And that's exactly what we did. And then we had a hardware failure, which we hope isn't going to happen again. But how perfectly appropriate for the name of the podcast. It could have been on a podcast a couple of podcasts ago where we talk about property sourcing or something. It would have been completely irrelevant. But thankfully, thank you, universe, or whatever thing you believe in. Not that I believe in the universe either these days. But anyway, here we are. So podcast 204, and in this podcast we're going to talk to you about stop worrying about going live and just click live. God damn it, you need to be going live in your business. There's no question about it. The difference between not going live and then creating all that content that goes around that, like podcasts and images and Facebook posts and Twitter posts and LinkedIn posts, and then we embed it on the website. And actually, we've been really slack on embedding it on the website recently because we've been so busy doing everything else. You know what it's like. Cobbler's children has no shoes. We're so busy doing everything else on everyone else's website. We've not kept mine up to date, but that's happening now and blah, blah, blah. So, but it all starts with a piece of content. And so what is that piece of content going to be? Well, for us, usually that content is about going live. And we can do all sorts of different things once we've gone live. But if you're not going to go live and you're not going to record video and you're not going to record audio, what are you going to do? What does your social media look like? Like motivational images of cats, motivational images attributed incorrectly, knowing is not enough, we must do, is not Bruce Lee, it's Goethe in the 18th and 19th century, whenever that dude was. And that drives me nuts. It was a really good one. People attributing fake quotes to random people said on Facebook, said Abraham Lincoln, which I thought was quite good. But that's what ends up being most people's journey on social media. And then we're like, well, I'm on social media, yeah, but you're not really doing anything. Like, what are you doing? What are you creating? Are you documenting? Gary Vee, for example, loves people documenting what they do. Like, we struggle with that. We can't document what I do. I get up, I have a shower, I come and do this, I do a bit of work, sit at my desk, I take the dog for a walk, sit by the beach if it's summer. Like you soon get bored of that, documenting that every day. It's not that interesting. So if you're not going to document, what are you going to do to make your social media stuff stand out from everybody else? Well, there's only a couple of things that you can do, frankly. You can create personalized images of you. Awesome. You can create video of you and you can make copy. There's only 3 ways of communicating on this planet: audio, video, or visual, and written. How else are you going to communicate? Oh, I know there's all the NLP and body language. What are you going to do? Go put your body language on Facebook. How's that supposed to work? So the only way for you to do it really is to go live on Facebook, get videos out on Facebook and LinkedIn and upload them to YouTube and put them over to Twitter and embed them on your website. But why do most, like we know that this is what should happen, right? So why are most people just not doing it? Well, there's just one reason why people don't do this, right? And it's fear. They are afraid of what people might think. Like, you're supposed to get people to think about you. That's what you're doing it for. The more stuff that we do, the more lives that we go, the more podcasts that we put out, the more calls that we got. We got a phone call last night, and a client came through last night. We've only just implemented the 0800 number on the website, and I'm too tight of a northerner to actually implement that. I don't answer the calls. It goes to a call answering service. It costs me £1. £1? Right. I'm really tight, as you know, because I'm northern. That's my excuse. I'm just tight. good with money, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, it cost me £1. So if I don't close that call, we're just getting quotes in for room hire for our war room events up and down the country. And, so we put a thing in and we're like, don't phone us, just email only. And what do we do? The bloody phone us on the 0800 number. It cost me £1. So, I'm like, so you just cost me £1. You're going to deduct that from the £200 room hire or the £400 room hire? You're going to deduct that for me? What? Yeah, you're going to deduct it because you just cost me £1? No. All right, fine. What use you? Soon learn. So, but we only just implemented the 0800 number. But I tell you, we should have done that a long time ago because that phone's ringing and people are wanting to make contact and that kind of thing. We are closing people. It's fine. It's an investment in our business, I suppose. But if we, the only reason we have the 0800 number is because we're putting out a lot of content and not everybody wants to email, not everybody wants to fill out a form. People still live in a world where they want to pick up a phone and speak to people. I think that's a bit weird. In this WhatsApp age, tenants like, can I phone you? No. Well, it's urgent. No. What if it's urgent? Just text me. Oh no, wait till tomorrow. It's not that urgent then, is it? If you're going to wait till tomorrow. So we put the 0800 number up, but the only reason we really do that now is because it's an 0800 number and it costs us money every time someone phones it, and then when somebody answers, it costs us money as well. But that's working for us. But the only reason it's working for us is because of all the content that we're putting out. And people are like, oh my gosh, you're everywhere. Yes, exactly. Thank you. That's the point. We are everywhere. We should be everywhere, and you should be everywhere too. You should be putting your content out as much as possible. If you can document what you're doing and you're not living the dullest life. We might live next to the Med, but I'm not jet skiing every day, paddle surfing every day. It's still bloody cold, that sea. We're not hanging out on multi-million-pound yachts. Not this year. Maybe next year, but not this year. So we can't document, but if you can document some of your processes, if you work in a manufacturing industry or you own a manufacturing industry, you should be taking videos of how you take this thing and it goes through the manufacturing process and comes out the other end, and then you pass those videos on to us, and then we'll make them look pretty, tell a story, give a storyline in between the videos, put some music on it, make it look cool, and then we will just, then they're done, then you can put them out. People love that kind of stuff, right? So you can document that. Or, have you ever seen the Eddie Stobart TV show? There's always like an emergency in that, and it's the same with Kim Kardashian. There's always, there's a storyline in there, and obviously they've got much bigger production values than we have, but there's a storyline in there, and they're always like, can Eddie Stobart's driver get his lorry on the ferry by 6 o'clock? Because if not, it's left without him. Cut to a break. Are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? That's content, right? They're just documenting content. I know Gary Vee talks a lot about documenting, but the original documenters were the Kardashians, were reality TV. Can't Pay, Take It Away is documenting the process. There's no real, and they do it very clever, by the way. I was about to say there's no real storyline, but there's individual storylines, isn't there? And they set off one, so there's a middle, a beginning, and an end. They set off with one, they talk about that, and then they go on to somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. Then we come back to the first one, we do the middle bit, and then we go off, and then we do the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then we come off that, and then we go on to the third person. If we go on to the same person the third time, which is the end, and we tell the story at the end on the texts. So we're effectively documenting again. Documenting as TV, as entertainment has been going on for years and years and years. Big Brother is kind of documenting people. Good morning, Tina. Is documenting people being in a Big Brother house and how that affects their psyche and some of the interpersonal relationships that occur because of that. You remember a couple of the meltdowns that some of the celebrities had in there. One of them, she was writing on the table, can't remember whose name it was. But that's really interesting as a voyeur kind of society, looking at how other people live. The TV show that watches people watching TV shows, whatever that program's called, that's just a bizarre concept, and yet it works. It's just crazy. And so, there's no production values really in that. You're just literally watching people watching TV who are commenting on it. It's just the stuff that you probably watched last week. It's just bizarre. But that's the stuff that makes gets a lot of eyeballs and people are watching it. So what are you doing? We said before, we used to have the TV, we used to have the radio, and we used to have newspapers. Now we've got Facebook Live, now we've got podcasts, and now we've got articles or blogs, right? So it's moving from being a centralized kind of system where you can't get on telly, right? Try and get your own TV show. That's really hard. But you can have your own TV show right here. And then it's just a case of driving as many people into it to watch it. And you might not get a lot of people watching your live stuff, and that's really irrelevant, by the way, because it's for people that watch it afterwards. We only go live in our little Facebook group, and we've only got 150 members in that group. So we're not going to get a lot of people. At some point, we'll get like 1,000 people, 2,000, 10,000 people in that group. But we've not run any money. We've not run any ads. It's called wealth creation strategies. It's not like solve this particular problem in 10 minutes or less. You know, it's not like engaged in that sort of level. And we do that on purpose because we don't want that kind of hype surrounding it. People are here because they want to be here. But we go live and we're not fussed about getting comments and getting views. We're fussed about what we do with that information after we've gone live. Me going live is just me beginning the process. It's like 20% of the entire process. The other 80%, the best analogy is the iceberg, okay? The 20% is what you see. That's the 20% that you're watching right now, that you're listening to right now on a podcast, that you're watching as a replay on YouTube, whatever, right? You sat on a tube and you're listening to the sound of my voice. I almost went in hypnotic mode then. So where was I? So that 20% is what you're seeing right now. What you don't see is the other 80% underneath the water and all the extra stuff that we're going to do with this. All the extra post-production stuff, adding music, adding drone footage, banging it out on YouTube, embedding that on the website, putting that out then onto social media, maybe sending an email out saying we've got a new podcast, all of that kind of thing. All of that drives traffic, and it all gets traffic either back to our website, onto a YouTube view, onto our Facebook group, onto we've done podcast, maybe onto iTunes. People download them. People download every episode and listen to every episode while we're out running, while we're out driving, because you can listen while you drive. So you've got to start documenting your stuff. But the reason why people don't do it is this fear that people are going to think, well, you don't look very healthy, or, oh my gosh, I can't believe you sound like that, or, oh my gosh, you said this. Like, honestly, no one cares. I could say cockwomble, right? Like, nobody cares. Just like nobody cares. Some people might be like, oh, okay, didn't expect that. But like, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you say, right? What people care about is, are you there? Are you consistent? And if you're not there and you're not consistent, people ain't going to be using you. So that's just how it goes. So look, I hope that's useful for you. Really short one today. Just click live, go live, get your phone, go live. And like the first time you do it, you'll feel like an idiot. The second time you'll feel less of an idiot. The third time you'll feel less of an idiot. But you just got to keep going like that. And then eventually you'll get to a point where you just don't care what people are thinking. You just won't be fussed about it at all. This fear around, well, I don't know, I don't like how I look. But that's how you look. Like, you're either going to lose weight or have plastic surgery. Which one is it? Well, I'm not having either. Right, we'll just get over the fact that you don't like how you look. That's how you look. And if I'm talking to you on the phone and I know how you look, that's who I'm imagining. And if you don't like that image that I'm imagining, you need to do something about it, or just get over it. Because it's like, it's irrelevant. Nobody cares how you look. No one cares if you're overweight. No one cares if you're short or tall or fat or thin. They just want your content. They want the information. They want you to go live so they can see if they like you or not. And then, like, most people will. Some people won't, but they don't like anybody, right? And you're always going to get haters. We had a phone call come through yesterday. Mr. J. Smith. That's not John Smith, is it? Wanted to know price of rent-to-rent training courses. Refused to leave a phone number. Refused to leave an email address. Yeah, and that's not competitors phoning up asking about our products and seeing what we're up to, is it? It's just bizarre. But that's fine. We're going to get haters, or not necessarily haters. You're going to knock a few chins out of place, and people are going to begin to notice you. And you're going to get people saying, "Oh, it's crap that. Oh, it's rubbish. You told me to do this. Told me to tidy my desk. Worst advice ever." We told a FTSE 100 director to tidy his desk. That was his coaching. He tidied his desk. He came to me the following week. He was like, "Dan, I don't know what you did, but that was amazing." Tidying his goddamn desk. And yet you get other people who are poor, who are not doing the money, who are not successful in business, going, I don't get it. Why would I tidy my desk? What's the point in that? I don't get it. And it's because we're not high enough up yet. Because we poo-poo everything that happens. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people tidy the desk or not, or if they get those results or not, and then they go on Facebook and go, that was crap, but I'm never doing that again. It doesn't matter. You're going to get those, right? Because that's just what business is. You can't please everybody all the time, so you should be pleasing yourself. And if part of that is generating more eyeballs on whatever it is that you've got going out, then that's exactly what you need to be doing. All right, that was Do Is For today. We'll catch up with you in tomorrow's podcast, and we'll speak to you then. My name's Dan Latto. Take care.
The Property Coaching and Wealth Creation Podcast, brought to you by property and business coach Daniel Latto. Join the conversation at www.daniellatto.co.uk. Remember to like and subscribe.